Hi guys, today we're going to be taking a look at Corsair's latest addition to the Obsidian series. This is the 550D, and it actually is very similar in the physical dimensions compared to the 650D. The differences though, as you can tell from behind me, are the styling. So with the 650D, at the front here we had a mesh panel, but with the 550D we've got this brushed aluminium faceplate, which is an openable door like this. You can open it from this side, you can open it from the other side, or you can completely remove it, so it's interchangeable. On the side for the 650D we had a perspex window, but with a 550D we've got a solid panel, we've got a removable cover so you can attach your cooling fans, and again with the top it's got a similar sort of thing with a removable cover, and you can attach the fans up there too. So the idea with the 550D, the real emphasis is silence. So we've got closed off panels on the side, the top, the front, they're completely sealed, and on the insides of these we've got a insulation foam to prevent the noise from escaping, and it really is, the emphasis, the push is silence. So if you're looking for something that does offer a silent solution, then this might be a good option for you. So we're going to go on a quick tour now of all the features. I'm going to show you a good close-up tour, give you lots of detail, and I hope you enjoy the video. Okay, so to start with, we'll take a look at the front panel. As you've seen in the introduction, this opens out. I've currently got it set so it opens out on this pivot here, but we can actually remove this, and it's got clips on either side, so we can attach it to this side if we wanted, and we can have it swinging from that side. Just depends on what your preference is, or you can have it completely removed like that, so that you've got access to the drive bay covers. On the inside of this, this brushed aluminium faceplate, we've got insulation foam. So that just gives you a bit more protection against noise escaping out of the case. And then on this inside front panel here, we've got, at the lower section here, we've got this panel which has the Corsair logo, and you just press this in, and this is again insulated with foam, so if you've got both of those panels on there, you've got double protection. And then on the inside of here we have, if we can get this out, this is an air filter with magnetic strips, so that just attaches to the inside there against the metal. Quite a nice idea, and you can just take that out and clean it. On the inside of here we've got two 120mm fans which are intakes, and you're going to wonder where the ventilation comes from, and it's actually at the bottom here and at the sides, so we haven't got a great deal of ventilation for those intakes. This may well impede on the thermal performance. And then above this we have four 5 1/4 bay covers, and those are removable from the inside of the case. And then up at the top we have the front panel controls. So for the front panel connectivity we have a range of different ports. We've got the headphone and the microphone jack, we've got reset button, we've got an activity LED, and in the middle there we've got a large power button, and then to the very far right we have two USB 3 ports, and those are via the motherboard header. At the top of 550D we have a solid panel, and we've got a removable cover, and you can see there we've got a little area marked out. You just need to press that in and this pops up, and then you can remove the panel. And again on the inside here we've got insulation foam just to prevent any noise from escaping out of the case. And also included there we've got another air filter with the magnetic strips along the edges to fasten that in, and of course that can be removed and cleaned. And at the top here we've got the mesh, which has the mounting holes for dual 120 or dual 140mm fans. We don't actually have any included, but you can add those yourself. Next up we come to the side panels. So on the reverse we've got a solid side panel, and again on the prominent side we've got a solid side panel, but we've got this area marked out similar to the top, which is removable. All you need to do is press that in again and that pops out. And again we've got the insulation foam just to aid that silence, and again we have a magnetic air filter which you can take out and clean. And on the underside of here we've got various placements for dual 120, dual 140, or we've got placement there for a 200mm fan. Now there are no thumb screws holding in the side panels on 550D. Instead, Corsair have put a button on either side on the rear panel, and you just need to press this button in, and this releases the latches, and then you can tilt the side panel forward and then you can lift it out. And as we've seen on many of the panels on 550D, this has got the insulation foam for the silence, and this is slightly thicker. So there we've got an overview of the system, which I've already installed inside 550D, and this just gives you an idea for space and clearance. Okay, we'll now go on a close-up tour of all the features inside 550D, and we'll start with the power supply unit. So this sits on 4 anti-vibration pads, which obviously prevent the vibration but also prevent the scratching. And we've also got underneath here a removable filter, which, as you can see, also covers a slot for mounting a 120 or a 140mm fan, and this filter is removable and you can clean it. And then above this we have 8 PCI expansion slot covers, and these have the ventilation holes for better airflow, and they've also got the thumb screws for easy removal. To the side of this we've got 4 circular rubber grommets, and that's just to give you the additional support for water cooling. In terms of the cooling options available in 550D, we have a rear exhaust which is 120mm, and we've also got mounting holes there for 140, so if you wanted to upgrade that you can do. At the top of the case we've got placement there for dual 120, 140mm fans, and we can also pop in there a water cooling radiator. Now it does need to be the normal size. If you've got an oversized one which is around the 6cm mark, then it's not going to fit. You're going to need to have a standard type. Now I get a lot of questions about the Corsair Hydro H100, and this definitely will fit inside here. Over on the other side of 550D we have 4 5¼ bays. These come equipped with the toolless design mechanism which we've seen on other design cases by Corsair, and all you need to do is drop your drive in, push this latch up and slide it across, and that secures it down. Inside the cage we've also got mounting holes there for 2.5-inch drives, so you can drop an SSD in there. In regards to hard disk drive storage, inside 550D we've got 2 cages, and each of these cages can take up to 3 drives. We've got the trays which we've seen before on many other cases, and these can take 2.5-inch or 3.5-inch drives. If you go for a 3.5-inch, then you're going to need to use the pins on the side for attaching the drive. But if you go for an SSD, a 2.5-inch drive, then you drop it in and you just apply the screws to the underside there. Now I've removed the thumb screws which are usually in these holes here and on the other side, and with that we can remove the upper cage just like that, no problem. You can also remove the lower cage, but I've left that in just to display the fact that you've got the mounting holes there for attaching another SSD 2.5-inch. So it's probably recommended, if you don't need that storage from the upper cage, if you remove that, then you've got unrestricted airflow for that fan. It's got no obstruction and it can have free airflow. Onto CPU cooler clearance. Here we've got the adequate space for the bigger flagships, and you can see I've got installed here Noctua NH-U12P, which is 158mm in height, and you can see the distance between the top of the heat pipes and where the side panel would be. There's actually quite a nice gap. So if you've got a bigger flagship like Noctua NH-D14, Thermalright Silver Arrow, Alpenfoam K2, which are all 160mm, then you'll have no problems at all. Again, with the graphics card clearance, we've got a generous amount of space. Here we've got the NVIDIA GTX 480, which is 11 inches in length. You can see from the end of the card to the hard disk drive cage, we've got quite a nice gap there. We've got an extra inch actually. So this case can take up to 12 inches, and even so, on top of that, we can even remove those hard disk drive cages. So if you, perhaps if you've got a card that's longer than 12 inches, I pretty much doubt it, but it will be able to take that. Last of all then, I just want to quickly show you what you can get away with in terms of the cable management inside 550D. So here we are behind the motherboard tray, and you can see here I've kept it very tidy indeed. You know, we've got where the rubber grommets are, we've got a channel which is concave, and this gives you an additional 2.5 centimeters you know, for getting the cables in, getting that side panel on. And Corsair have actually put a cutout for the CPU power cable, and this is very handy. It means you can route the CPU power cable from where the grommet is all the way up to that top spot and get it routed through. Okay guys, well that pretty much concludes our video today. I hope you've enjoyed what you've seen. We've been taking a look at the 550D, which is actually one of my favourite mid-towers, which I've had the pleasure of taking a look at. I've given it the gold award over at Vortez.net in the full review, which I'll actually pop the link in the description so you can take a look at that and read it, because obviously some of the things I can't actually cover, like thermal performance, and obviously miss out various bits and bobs. So go over there, check out the thermal performance, see what the cooling's like inside here. As far as silence, you know, with these fans here and at the back, they run at 800 RPM, and with the foam insulation you're not going to hear very much at all, so it's really nice to have a silent case. Doesn't disturb you when you're doing your gaming, when you're doing your work or whatever. In terms of pricing, in the UK you're looking at around £100. In the United States it's around $139 US. Go over to newegg.com. I've got the price for that for those guys in the US. So it is quite an affordable case. It is at the higher end of the mid towers, but for the quality, you may well have been able to pick up on the video. The build quality is exceptionally good, so worth a look if you're looking for a mid tower in that price range, looking for a silent solution. You should definitely check it out. So thanks very much for watching guys. If you've got any comments, just drop them in the box below, and if you would subscribe and like this video, I would really appreciate it, and I'll see you soon.